Hello and welcome to Acoustic Review. I'm Ben and today we're looking at the SE T50E from PRS Guitars. Though mainly known for their electric guitars, PRS have been making inroads into the acoustic market for some years now, and with players such as Martin Simpson and Tony McManus using their guitars, they've obviously had some success. Launched at NAMM 2018, the SE range brings the Tonare body shape, previously only available on the private stock guitars, into a more affordable price bracket, and also uses PRS Hybrid X Classical bracing system. The T50 sits at the top of a 6-guitar range and includes a solid Sitka spruce top, a laminated flamed maple back and sides, a mahogany neck with the PRS wide fat carve, an ebony fingerboard with the PRS bird inlays, and a bone nut and saddle. Electronics are provided by the Fishman GT1 system, and a PRS hard case is included at the suggested retail price of $749. Having played some of the private range USA-made acoustics in the past, I'm really intrigued to see how this SE range sounds, so let's have a listen to the guitar and come back afterwards for my thoughts. The Fishman GT1 system has a built-in tone control. Here's the sound with the tone control all the way up. Here's the sound with the tone control about halfway down. And here's the sound with the tone control all the way off. My initial impressions getting the guitar out of the case was that, wow, this neck feels really good, but the guitar is a little bit heavier than I was hoping. Aesthetically, I think the guitar has quite a lot of bling to it. The abalone and the flamed maple back and sides make the guitar quite flash looking, but it doesn't stray into garishness, so it's still a very tasteful looking guitar. My first impressions of the sound of the guitar was that it was quite present, with the full frequency range represented, and very forward sounding. I feel like it would sit in the mix quite well with other instruments without dominating the sound field, but I still feel it works as a solo instrument. The guitar is quite loud, which comes across both from the playing position and on the recording, and I think this loudness actually helps with the fullness of sound, and I particularly enjoyed playing the guitar in drop D. I think that extra volume gave the low end just a little bit more kick, which you don't always get with a smaller body size. I have to say that actually I was very pleasantly surprised by the tone of the guitar. I've only really known PRS through their American-made guitars and their electric guitars, so to find the sound in a guitar of this price range, it's really pleasing. Having said that, I do feel like the guitar could do with a little bit of a setup. I did find my fingertips were a tiny bit sore after playing it for a little while. That's not to say that the guitar is actually hard to play. I just think it could do with a few final tweaks to get it playing to my preferences. But for you guys at home, you might find that it plays just great out of the box. The neck shape is full but not too junky, and the string spacing at the nut and the bridge is more than ample for fingerstyle and strumming techniques. I just think the guitar could do with a little setup just to make it perfect. The plugged in sound is your typical under saddle pickup, so Not the most pleasing sound, to be honest with you, but I think going direct to the desk, you don't really hear a pickup in its best light. I think once that had gone through a PA system or a little amplifier, you'd be able to tweak that sound to get a usable sound live, but you maybe wouldn't want to use it in the studio. As I mentioned before, the guitar does feel a little bit heavy, but I think that's probably testament to the quality of the build. It's very well made, and I couldn't find any faults with it anywhere visually. The finish is quite thick, so I wonder if that does add to the weight a little bit. But it does look great, the sunburst on the back of the guitar really makes the flame maple pop. One thing that does stand out is the bird inlays on the fingerboard, which, although they might not be to everyone's taste, for fans of PRS's electric guitars, I think it's really good to see that signature touch on the guitar. At £749 and including a hard case, I think PRS are pretty on the money with the guitar at this price point. Personally, I think it would be nice to see a solid back and sides and a slightly higher grade top wood. But if you take the guitar as a full package with the electronics and the hard case, and obviously the sound included, I think it's good value for money. My favourite thing about this guitar was the fact that the second I picked it up, I immediately felt like I could play this neck. I'm not really familiar with the wide carve neck before, but this will actually probably get me looking at the PRS electric guitars, if that's the way their necks are like on those guitars. My least favourite thing, I have to say, was perhaps the weight. I'm not the biggest guy, so having a heavy guitar around my neck is sometimes a little bit uncomfortable, but I suppose with laminated back and sides, guitars do tend to be a little bit heavier anyway. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please remember to comment and ask us any questions if there's anything you'd like us to look at in the future. This is Acoustic Review, and we'll see you next time.